Yeah.
Without any fucking papers.
You can do like the D7 visa. That's what I've been told. But like if they want to move to like a country where they actually want to start a business, good fucking luck.
Yeah, well,
good luck.
Don't go to Europe and start a fucking business. How about that?
It's easier to be an illegal immigrant than it is to be a person that does things legally.
Exactly.
Which is very telling of the times, to be honest.
Exactly. That's the fucking problem. So like obviously you can go to countries like fucking Portugal, which has like a visa where you can like easily go to, and it has like the golden visa. But if you like want to go to Europe and you actually want to hire fucking Europeans and start a business or whatever, the actual countries where you can actually do that and actually start like a proper business, those countries are going to make it a pain in the fucking ass for you. Right. But they'll let in some fucking dude that doesn't even have a passport, right? Doesn't have any paperwork.
And take the individual and who he is, his age and everything, he, she, whatever, at their word.
Yes, but
they have more trust in the fucking illegal immigrant than their own citizens, or even potentially somebody who could give them a lot of benefits.
Yeah, exactly. You have, so you're someone that has tens of millions of dollars. You
guys, come on,
start a company. You want to hire fucking native Europeans to fucking run your business and whatever. Oh, you need to give us 50 fucking pieces of paperwork, and when you do, it's not fucking enough.
Look, governments are controlled by different groups that have different incentives. The European people who work in the European government know that the freaking people who come over like across the Mediterranean in boats, like they know that's bullshit. It's just they just have a different system. Yeah, it's not about trusting or anything. It's politics.
Yeah, that's the exact problem, right? So when you have, this is my problem with the system, right? So you have people like that are having extreme difficulty coming into the countries for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And then you have those people that can just, they take them at their word and they can just enter and they can get past it. Who do you think is more likely to commit the crimes?
Yeah, obviously.
Is it gonna be the guy that's managed to prove, right, fucking 20 times over that every source of money, every investor he's ever had, everything is completely legal, and he's paid all his taxes on time and everything. He has to prove every fucking thing. Is he gonna go around fucking stabbing people? Or is it gonna be the guy whose real name they don't have, whose fucking real birthday they don't have, they have done no background check on? Who's more likely to commit a crime?
My dude, and then you are preaching to the choir. Like,
yeah.
Like,
I know, but still, like, after this shit happens, what happens is that the native population is like against immigration, and then the fucking people that actually came in legally, properly, and like invested in the country has done more for the fucking country than most of the people of that country have done for that country. Their experience has been that it's a fucking difficult ass process, and everyone's saying it's like way too easy to get in. And then those people are gonna, like, they're shunned because of the fact that they just came to the country.
Well, you're talking about this whole process like it's supposed to actually make sense. It's not. The reason the process exists is simply to slow down the flow of immigrants within the scope that they can control to the point where
it's not that reason. The reason, the real reason.
I'm saying the process is intentionally shitty.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even.
I don't think it's to slow down the rate of immigration. It's
basically there's things they can control about immigration. There's things they can't control about immigration. The things that they can control, they're going to manipulate that to get the desired outcome they want. I mean,
the problem is that the immigration policies are literally set to get people working for fucking companies that already exist in those countries for the lowest wages possible. That's what the immigration policies are actually going for at the moment.
Okay, I'll tell you the worst thing about all of this. The worst thing about all of this is that those people who show up in Europe and the U.S. without passports, who lie, who are from the dregs of their societies in like Venezuela or Algeria or Ethiopia or whatever, those people are then cited as demographic growth. So people in the United States believe that our country isn't in a fertility or demographic crisis because of the people who are streaming across the southern border illegally. That is the worst thing about it in my mind. That's to me the greatest contradiction and the thing that pisses me off the most. Because importing bad people is worse than not bringing in anyone at all. And it drives fertility down even further because when these people are fucking committing crime, it becomes harder to like have a family because your kids are more susceptible to that like crazy homeless person on the street than you are. It drives me
Exactly. You look at a country like the UAE, for example, United Arab Emirates. If you want to immigrate there as like a successful person who's like run a business, it's very easy. They'll process everything within 2 weeks. But the fucking US and Europe, it takes months upon months, maybe even years, before they even run like a fucking background check.
It drives me mad. But the flip side, the contrary argument is that you do need like capable immigrants too, and people confuse these two things. Like you can be against like illegal streaming in over the southern border and for like merit immigration. And people conflate the issues, and you need one. Yeah. At least in America, we need one, and we need to get rid of the other. And yeah, I think the issue is a lot of the policies are very clearly steered towards like lowering wages as much as possible for like companies, so they can hire like a lot of foreigners that they can pay lower wages for. That's what a lot of the immigration policies feel like. In Europe, I think that may be the case. In the United States, I think there's a slightly different calculus. I would say actually the U.S. is kind of the same with like the H-1Bs. Oh, the H-1Bs, yeah. But so are you comparing illegal immigration in Europe to H-1Bs in terms of lowering wages? I think that's somewhat reasonable. No. I wouldn't say they're exactly on the same level. No, they're not. They're not on the same level. Like, no, even better, but it's the same idea, right? For the same purpose, lowering wages. So it's for the purpose of lowering wages for the companies, right? So I think like the EB-1 program or the O-1, those programs are like very well done, well run. Those are for people that are like actually can demonstrate like exceptional ability. Are they well run? I like. Don't they take like a really long time to be processed, even if you are like a super PhD in AI astrophysics? It takes a lot more than that to qualify for the EB-1. But the requirements are actually pretty well defined. So as long as you meet those requirements, they'll process. I've seen people get approved for it in 2 weeks. So the EB-1. So two things. As long as go ahead. Sorry. As long as you meet the criteria for the EB-1, they'll process it pretty quickly. Okay. So first thing, illegals coming to the United States, I don't think that's to lower wages because a lot of the maybe it is. I don't know. It's unclear. The other thing is I had 2 employees apply for 3 visas to the United States, employees who are overseas who are going to come to the U.S. for training, and all 3 of them got denied. One employee got denied repeatedly, which was super frustrating because these are capable people who are absolutely going to return to their countries. Meanwhile, people are streaming over the border illegally. And this guy who got denied twice to come to the U.S., he got a fucking 10-year visa to China. So I'm more likely to see that dude in China than I will in my own country because he got a 10-year to China but couldn't get a B1, B2 to the United States on 2 separate tries, like with letters for me, everything. Drives me nuts.
That's a fucking club right there.
Do you have a foreign office?
No, if I'm understanding you correctly. Like we have like people working remotely in a bunch of different countries, but we don't.
Right. No. If you had like a foreign branch, what you could do is you could do like internal transfer. I think it's called an L1 visa or something like that. If you had another branch in another country.
So I heard that if you have an issue with your passport in the United States, one of the best way to resolve it is to call your like congressman. And so I called my congressman's office, and they gave me the impression that if those people apply again, they can like increase the chances of them getting a visa. But I haven't tested it yet.
Based on what I've seen, that's not the case whatsoever. Because the outside of like changing the immigration laws, there's literally nothing those people can do. They can like try, because I remember seeing a case where like this guy was literally like fucking dying of kidney failure or something, like Filipino American, and then like he was trying to get some guy from like the Philippines to come to the U.S. To basically give him like a fucking kidney transplant, and the fucking the Filipino guy entry, they wouldn't give him a visa. They just kept rejecting him, and he got like several fucking senators and representatives involved, and no matter who he got involved, they wouldn't let him in.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's one of the things that we need to reform. One of the many things we need to reform.
Yeah. The immigration is a very difficult issue because obviously you want people that are very intelligent. You want people that aren't detrimental to the country. There is obviously people that come into the country that like contribute to the country massively.
Well, I have a pretty good solution to it. So it's just four things. It's really straightforward. So first of all, you got to get the illegals out, not just because it's tearing the fabric of our society. It's like implying that laws don't matter in the country. It's a huge insult to citizens. Second point, you got to grant like seasonal work visas for people to like pick berries and stuff like that. There's probably insufficient labor for us to maintain our food supply. Third thing, get rid of all non-merit immigration. So no chain migration.
Hello.
Pick up.
Hey.
This door, where is door?
It's a red door. It's 5562 West Evans. It's next to the garden on hey.
62, I don't know. Maybe.
It's on Edmond Street. I can come outside. Do you want me to come outside?
It's 52.
5562.
62, I don't know. No.
5562. It's a big brick house next to the garden. It's on the intersection of Higgins, Edmonds, and Central. It's a 2-flat. It's right on the corner. There's a big pine tree in front of the house.
English problem, but I'm here.
Okay, I'll come outside. I'll see if I can see it.
Okay.
Like that shit now.
No, I saw.
You don't have to amplify it, but you can go check it out. Just it goes illegals out.
Yeah, no.
I saw a clip today from Jensen Huang that I found that I thought was very interesting. And Jensen Huang is like the CEO of NVIDIA, founder and CEO of NVIDIA. It was basically him saying that the reason that companies choose NVIDIA chips over like any competitors is because even if a competitor gave their chips away for free, it would actually still cost them less because of the ecosystem they've built around fucking NVIDIA. That it would still end up costing them less to use NVIDIA chips, even with the price they pay, than to use someone else's chips for free.
Oh wow. Why? I don't know anything about NVIDIA. Very little. I mean, I know who that guy is, but
Just the operational expenses of. Let me see if I can find the exact clip so I don't like fuck up his wording.
I'm like really trying to watch a bunch of videos with Jensen Huang because he talks about how he doesn't do one-on-ones. I think he's got a very flat organization where like dozens of people report to him. He gives all feedback publicly.
16 reports.
This is like all this stuff that I'd like to do, that I'd like to learn more about.
Also, Canada might have a no confidence vote soon.
Really?
Yeah, apparently the Indian guy who like supports Trudeau.
Jagmeet Singh. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy apparently, since like that's the only like party that's like supporting Trudeau's party, they're saying that they're gonna have a no confidence vote, so that would throw them off the majority.
Interesting.
This guy's like a flag in the wind, isn't he? He just goes back and forth, like supports then goes against, supports then goes against. Isn't that exactly what's happening there? Because if I recall this correctly, that's exactly what Broad's been doing for quite a while now.
Well, he's been for a while now. He's been saying that he's not going to force Trudeau to step down, but he's suggesting that Trudeau steps down. So,
Yeah, but even before that, there was like support, then there's not support. Then there's support, then there's not support. And now we're at the non-support stage. So what's happening next? Is like time a flat circle? What's going on here?
I don't know. We'll have to see.
The largest drug bust in Canadian history was a bunch of Sikh truckers. Jagmeet is a...
Yeah, that's like the thing that falls right after what we just said. Like, bruh.
Wait, what?
Exactly. Your context-rich neurons picked up immediately on Canadian politics, then goes to Canadian drug dealers.
Well, actually, it was the guy's name is Jagmeet Singh, and he's Sikh, and there's like a huge Sikh population in Canada, and Sikhs are like getting really big in the drug trade in Canada. It's kind of interesting. That's what it was. Jagmeet is like very like fascinating looking, at least for me. He seems to be like a big tall dude. He's got like a very large, like colorful turban, and he's just like an interesting political character, like optically. I don't know anything about his politics.
The British Parliament has like I think at least one of them looks like that. Most likely, hang on.
That's another thing that's wild. Like they got like a Pakistani guy running Scotland. They got like some other dude. Like a lot of people from the Indian subcontinent.
It's not a Sikh, it's a Sikh.
Is that right? I don't know.
Yeah, Sikh. That's what it's called.
That's why it's got that H on the end.
Yeah. One of my Muslim friends told me.
Is that who you trust on it?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you gotta ask a Sikh, you know.
No, that's the pronunciation. I feel like part of it, it's like, oh my god, I was about to say something.
That whole
God, I'm gonna tell you after. That's what I was about to say.
that whole thing is super interested. Like the whole like Hindu versus Muslims versus Sikh thing in India. They're like very turned up over there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Indians and the Hindus hate each other there.
And like the Sikhs are always alleging that the Indian government is assassinating people in Canada, and it's like it's just wild. There's like
Hold on.
Khalistan.
Hold on, I'm gonna send you something real quick. I'm gonna show you this. God damn it, man. Hold on. Let me find it. This is gonna make you laugh. Wait a minute. I think I found it. There you go.
Wow.
He actually fucking said it.
Oh
my
god.
I don't know why, but I'm starting to. I really love this guy for very many reasons. Like this guy is just the more bullshit he keeps doing, it's like the more I start liking it. It's funny as fuck.
Right, so okay, so I found the clip, I think. So
complete state-of-the-art chips. It's possible, though, that you'll face competition that claims to be good enough. Not as good as NVIDIA, but good enough, and much cheaper. Is that a threat?
Well, first of all, competition. We have more competition than anyone on the planet has competition. Not only do we have competition from competitors, we have competition from our customers.
Yeah.
And I'm the only competitor to a customer, fully knowing they're about to design a chip to replace ours. And I show them not only what my current chip is, I show them what my next chip is, and I'll show them what my chip after that is. And the reason for that is because look, if you don't make an attempt at explaining why you're good at something, they'll never get a chance to buy your products. And so we're a completely open book in working with just about everybody in the industry. And the reason for that, our advantage is several. Our advantage, what we're about, is several things. Whereas you can build a chip to be good at one particular algorithm. Remember, computing is more than even transformers. There's this idea called transformers. There's a whole bunch of species of transformers, and there are new transformers being invented as we speak. And the number of different types of software is really quite rich. And the reason for that is because software engineers love to create new things, innovation. And we want that. What NVIDIA is good at is that our architecture, not only does it accelerate algorithms, it's programmable, meaning that you can use it for we're the only accelerator for C.
right, so eventually he goes on to talk about total cost of ownership, where he basically says that, so I'm reading it here, benefits like time to deployment, performance, utilization, and flexibility are so good that even if the competitor's chips are free, it's not cheap enough.
That, the beginning of him talking reminded me of that like Peter Thiel saying where he says that like if you have a monopoly, you talk about how you have all this competition, and then if you're in vicious competition, you talk about how you have a monopoly. And like, you know, NVIDIA has like a pretty strong market position, does it not?
Yes, especially in AI chips. But yeah, a lot of companies are making their own chips to try to compete with NVIDIA so they can kind of win off NVIDIA. I think each like H100 that they sell for like 30K or something
It cost them like 2,000.
हम लोग मेल फैमिली से तो लड़ने के लिए हमेशा तैयार रहते हैं.
Yeah, well, oh yeah.
They say that.
Okay.
I believe it was.
Hi, Karan.
Is that Danny in your PTR, conservative?
Oh. Hey, nigger.
Hey,
Pedophile.
sister.
Nigger.
Oh, look who's here. Look at, I was fighting with him
Sam?
today for you.
Oh.
God, get this fucking ginger fucking kite
No,
out of here.
no,
We don't like
hold
that.
on. Hold on. I was
Fucking
fighting with
ass
him for you.
bitch.
Hold on.
Fuck up, you Assalamualaikum. Go freaking rub your menorah.
Yo,
Go wear your
hey Sam, we heard about all your dirty, backhanded conversations with conservative.
Because you were a drag queen, you fucking ginger pig.
Yeah, you want to I was like, have you
You got a Dollar Tree Prince William.
Roaches was fat. I
Yeah. Not me.
I did.
Why are people being mean to me? I just want to
Why are you making fun of cerebral palsy people, huh?
It's Christmas with Down syndrome.
Oh, wow. You know this is being recorded, right?
I thought
Yeah.
that there was a room for people with Down syndrome.
It is, man.
You're
Why
not,
are you here?
So everyone, this is Sam
Welcome to the short.
Rosen.
do you not have Down
Brooklyn.
syndrome?
And he's making fun of disabled people. If you want to contact him, his number is 619-555-181-1-895 Jenny.
Somebody got rejected.
I understand this room not for people with Down syndrome.
Sam, is that like a kink you like to play with your
I
ex-wife?
guess I came to the wrong
Bye.
Sam, did you get divorced because this was your kink?
Do you guys have Oreos? Do you guys like Oreos?
What happened to you, Sam? No, I see. I forgot about the title.
What the fuck is wrong with me? What's so funny, Ryan? Do you not like Oreos?
Oh.
Can we hear?
You say?
My top 10 favorite candies, if I had to rank them, Twizzlers is number 1,
Twizzlers.
and number 2 is Gushers, then Oreo.
My top 10 candy is how the fuck she.
Do you know Zachary on this app,
Why
Sam?
are you being mean to me?
Because you're mean to Lucy.
Who? What?
Sam, where do you rank Skittles?
The one that I said was overweight.
Sam, have you been eating Skittles?
Sorry, I'm overweight too.
We know.
Sam, did you go to the matzo ball?
Melania, I don't know what happened.
Sam, did you go to the matzo ball?
You blocked him? Her? Sorry.
I thought so, but I guess not.
Why are you being offended as a man that you block people?
Oh,
Are you Diego?
I
Hello?
think blocking is healthy.
Hello?
Or are you Nora?
Hello? Sam, are you a closet homosexual?
Down syndrome.
Hello?
Guess I'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
What the hell? What?
So sad that Christmas is not white anymore.
What an F word.
What does that mean?
That there's no snow.
Yeah.
Snow? Just go to Diego's room. He's got dandruff everywhere.
Yeah, so that's never been an issue for me.
Oh, we do. We had always snow. Now it's just rain. And it's quite warm.
Yeah, this year it has
Global
as you say,
warming.
it's freezing cold
Global warming.
around Thanksgiving, and I haven't seen that in years. But this Christmas, it hasn't gotten below 45. This year, not just this Christmas.
Oh, somebody's biking.
I heard the season's becoming trans too.
Usually it's 70 degrees here now. Or it has been for the most part.
Is Christmas gay?
It's like foggy and rainy,
Yeah.
and I can smell.
What the
like,
fuck? It's foggy here too. Is the whole planet fucking foggy? Is there like a dragon midst
I don't
across
know
the
what it
realm?
is.
Maybe flat Earth is real.
The nature.
Nature's fake. Okay, I'm gonna go back to listening to Elon Musk. I am complete.
alcohol and food that you don't feel comfortable eating at events, and then you like develop like a quiet confidence, like alcohol sucks.
Yeah, simple. You just fucking say it, and you're like, yeah, I don't drink it. Simple. You know, you have to have a specific aura about you. Don't even excuse it. Make no fucking excuses for it. Just say that you don't. You do not need to make an excuse for a good personal decision like that. Say, for instance, oh, I don't want to drink any alcohol. You don't fucking like tell them that straight away. You just wait until they offer some and say, oh, hey, do you want to X, Y, and Z drink? And be like, no, I'm good.
Well, the truth is though, they will ask you like 4 times.
I don't fucking care. They'll ask me 5 fucking times. They actually asked me like about 6 fucking times, and they did that within the space of less than an hour because it was such a hard thing to like accept. Like, man, how's this fucking guy not drinking? I'm like, no, I'm good. Every single time, same fucking default response. I don't care. You don't have to justify that shit. You justify that shit to yourself with a whole bunch of stuff. If they ask you why, then you justify it. But beyond that, don't fucking do it. Who cares?
True.
It's your fucking decision.
But maybe not everyone's got your constitution, and it takes a little bit of practice until you feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah, I mean, like, imagine it. The way you can do it is like, say, imagine something that's not always socially asked, but like, say, do you do a particular thing, and it's like a practice which the majority of the time is not something that is done by society. So you just have no reply for that, and the way that feels, and the way that people accept that, you just have to basically treat it the same way. It's like a basic thing, you know.
I mean, autism is like this on steroids because literally everything I do for my entire life is the opposite of what people would encourage me to do.
Something like that, yeah. You build up a resistance for this, you know, like a front. And they can talk about anything, do whatever they want. Even with things, I've noticed that if you have the need to justify that to someone, then it is more so like, even if they don't ask, like imagine you have a thing where you're trying to justify something to someone and they don't ask about your justification of it, then it comes off as if like, let's imagine that you actually wanted that person to know because you think it's important, but most of the time what people usually do is they give a justification for an action they take, not because they want someone else to be encouraged to take that same action with them, but because you want to see whether or not you can justify yourself of this. That's the problem. People like to talk for the sake of convincing themselves of the thing that they're trying to convince other people of. It's like trying to outsource your own confirmation bias. It's ridiculously funny and fucked up at the same time. And it exists in ways that mostly you cannot necessarily avoid. And for somebody who's like, say, autistic, they don't even notice that they're doing this at all. As a matter of fact, they think they don't notice it because their understanding of giving an explanation to a particular life decision that they make, let's say if it be dietary and you explain exactly why that is, you're actually hoping to improve another person's life by explaining to them your justification. Other people have like their own justifications for things, but they explain to you their justification because they want themselves to feel justified in their decision, as opposed to explaining it because they want to help you. You see where that dilemma is? The alcoholic convincing their guests to drink with them.
It's like a social pressure thing, but I've been pretty resistant to it. I haven't really drank that much in the past couple of years.
Damn, that's a good post. But yeah. So that's the thing where with autism, you have to actually kind of play by the rules of the game that's set by the normalized dysfunction or unaware, or like the lack of awareness of other people. So, in this case, unless somebody asks you of your justification as to why it is that you've taken a certain path, you don't say it, even if it's helpful to them. They don't care. They really do not care. And it makes you come across as extremely weak if you show any of that to anyone. It does. It's really fucking disgusting. I hate it.
It is very frustrating because I often get questions from people, and I don't even know to what depth I should go into for explaining certain things, because I don't know how much they actually care. I don't know if maybe they would find the things I say disagreeable. So I feel like I'm constantly assessing myself for how much should I really explain this, because there's certain things I could talk about for hours and hours and hours. I could just explain endlessly about this thing. And, I know most people don't want to listen to that. So it's like when someone asks me this very surface level question about something that I take very serious, it's like, I don't even know how to begin addressing this within your frame. And it's an endless source of frustration.
I mean, that's the challenge. I don't care. It's very nice. I actually like it when certain people that have no understanding of what I'm about to say, they try to ask me a question on something. And then it gives me a great challenge to boil it down into metaphors. At first, make it clear, I'm like, okay, that's going to be a bit tough to explain. You're not going to tell them that it's tough to explain because they don't know shit. You just simply tell them that the fact that it is, in fact, going to be difficult for you to explain it, right? So you just kind of boil it down to metaphor and give it to them. And you say, also, if at any point none of what I'm saying makes sense, do make sure to ask me more questions on that, because, I actually want you to understand that. Something like that. But you don't tell them that you want them to understand. You just say, okay, and if at any point I'm not making sense of what I'm saying, you're going to tell me, because, something like that. Just continue. Keep the justifications out of that. Just keep the statements going. That should work so fucking much. And then sometimes you do get questions in, and actually quite good questions. You see, I think one of the major problems is that the majority of people, they don't understand what learning looks like, but they actually do want to learn because it's built into humans that they want to be useful somehow. And so understanding what the world looks like because you're genuinely curious, unless of course you don't have that, which is not the rule but the exception, then you're willing to receive this information. It just depends on how receptive they are to what it is that you're able to put out. The output is extremely, that's where the challenge is at. Because you have to think about it this way. I'm pretty sure that the majority of all people are able to sit through a strange, dramatized, bullshit representation of reality that is a sitcom, or fucking Star Wars, or the new Star Trek, which is absolute fucking dog shit. But anyways, you sit through it, and they are somehow able to grasp some of those concepts, and some of the other ones they're not, but they subconsciously do, which is the point of the show. Anyways, the thing is, if they are able to sit through all of this nonsense and then perhaps even recite some of the plot points, that means that they are capable of understanding complex levels of information to a certain extent. While it may appear, I think, to us, that this is a thing where it's basic in nature because of our understanding as to how the world works. For them, it's just a thing that, it's new, it's abstract, right? And so I think presentation of a particular, type of fact that you understand or a concept that you understand is what separates you from, I say, high functioning and low functioning intelligence.
Well, the part of it is, however, it's not just a matter of my ability to explain it. It's that they probably have a number of pre-existing ideas that are going to prevent me from being able to accurately explain it. Because if say I'm talking about something that maybe they have some familiarity with, but I have an entire layer of context that I've added through my own research to this. I'm not just explaining that thing. I'm now unexplaining everything they know. And this is the worst part of all. This is absolutely the worst part, because unexplaining things, unlearning things is often way more difficult than learning things. It's not only because you have to go through the same process essentially, but you also have to kind of question yourself. You have to, in a sense, admit fault, right? Because not even that I really particularly judge people for having a wrong belief about something. It's more like, there's always going to be this sense of an emotional attachment to your beliefs. If you believe something, you believe it with your whole heart, and you want to convince other people. You've had this whole saga with this belief, and obviously some people are going to be wrong about certain things. That's just an inevitability in a sense, because we're very split in terms.
I think you're overcomplicating it a little bit. I think that's actually in general. I think that's a bit of a problem with everyone. Is the overcomplication of what it is that we understand. Like the world is very complex, and you can talk to other people as to how complex it really is, and really boil down to the systems if somebody asks. But if somebody doesn't ask, then you can't explain the full spectrum of what the world actually is. You start at the basic bitch thing first, and then you go to like more levels of complexity.
Really difficult. Like just boiling down a complex.
Not really, not for me. You just have to keep doing it a bunch of times. And I think one of the ways that I've been able to learn it is by actually having to work with people that don't understand certain things at all. Like, say, for instance, you have an individual that has never touched a computer before, never really used a computer before. Try to explain to them how the fucking computer works. Absolutely fucking hopeless. However, what you do teach them is how to execute a particular what you want them to execute on that computer. And then slowly but surely, as they even make mistakes, you start to understand how you can teach them even more so. And that has allowed me to do very interesting things. I can teach practically anyone almost anything, depending on, of course, how advanced that mind is, how receptive they are to the information. There's an intelligence barrier, of course, which acts as a limiting factor to what it is that I can do in terms of teaching people, but in and of itself, that in fact will work. More so than you can imagine. I have to train people that have no clue in certain places on how to do certain things, a thing that they will never have a clue about unless I teach them. Imagine, for instance, teaching them a particular thing that in 5 minutes that 5 years of school couldn't do for them. Well, that's what I can do. That is one of my great superpowers. If that wasn't the case, I really wouldn't be having a job, nor would I even have a show, because the art of having a show, especially a thing like this, is to take super complex things that have taken a lot of time to learn and understand, and boiling them down to a few sound bites that are minutes in length or even seconds in length. That is the reason why this show, for instance, is so big, because it is a constant flow of this exact information, acting as one interconnected thing itself, but still having enough separation for it to satisfy the ADHD-prone minds of the 21st century. And this is all of us, by the way. We all have these weaknesses in some capacity or other. We've all been inundated with short-form content. And this works. If you want an idea to be viral, if you want something, to stick in somebody's head, you come up with funny ways to say a certain thing, or even have a lot of variation of the thing that you do say, because it keeps people, gripped to the story, whatever it may be. And that story is also learning. Like comedians, same thing. Stand-up comedians are so good, because they're effectively also teachers in a sense. They bring forth a lot of information, which then becomes your context. And then eventually, if the context is, received and programmed into people's brains, then you can drop the punchline, and then everybody laughs, because the punchline for the first time ever makes sense. And other comedians, they just basically look at whatever the context of the room could be, and then drop punchlines associated with whatever common context there is, and then they're able to just make jokes up on the fly, because somebody just will get it, right? The reason why you get things is because you have the proper context, and if you don't have the proper context be there, then you have to give that context to those people, specifically if you're a stand-up comedian in a show. That's how that works, right? Also, the reason why Mark Andreessen is so fucking interesting to listen to, because he's doing the exact same shit that I do as well, right? He just has to breathe less into the microphone. It's a little bit distracting. But hey, amazing individual. Mark Andreessen.
I don't know. I guess if I'm just
used to follow me, but I pissed him off.
I guess if I'm talking about my experience personally, it's part of it is just that I'm not only teaching people, I'm also in constant learning experience as well. I mean my
everybody is. Well, yeah, but everybody is. You're not introspective enough. That is your problem. It's a great weakness. It was a weakness of mine as well, that I'm not introspective enough. Everything that I do,
that I'm not introspective enough. I'm actually trying to
should be. It's a very simple thing.
Well,
it's a simple thing to put into action, to be introspective, because you just simply look at whatever it is that you're about to say and say, how effectively can I say this? How can I make this shorter, more efficient, and well-versed? That is what I've based years years of practice around, and it is extremely difficult.
Well, what I was about to explain is that, it's actually the same thing with the introspection thing, is that I'm trying to maintain a certain trajectory of learning. At the same time, I'm trying to maintain a certain trajectory of, being able to teach people. So same thing with the introspection. I'm trying to maintain a certain level of self-reflection and, learning and analyzing myself. At the same time, I'm also trying to be right here and talk to you and engage with this, and also hopefully be entertaining to people. So it's just a balance, right? I think that I have a fairly effective inner-outer balance in terms of, progression balanced by also, actively creating meaning. And I try to even integrate these things because I find that I actually can learn things in a sense just by doing. And, I'll be having a conversation with someone, I'll say something like, I didn't even realize that I thought that way about that until I had this conversation with someone. So
some conversations are like that, but the problem is these have to be personal conversations. And then the problem beyond that is after you've had that conversation, sit down and take an hour to change things each and every single time. Like, for instance, if you were to take a space that I did, I always do this after spaces. I examine, how was it? Was it actually good? Do we do well? What would I change? I have clips of myself being made all the time by many people. Blaise was one of the first who actually did that, and then somebody else even created a tool based around our spaces and how mimetic they were, because there was so much value that you could just clip out of these. But realistically, what was interesting about this is because you were displayed for you a type of thing, and you look at the clip, and normally what people do is they make excuses for themselves and say, no, I actually did perform well, even though you look at that and you say, if this wasn't me, and if this was somebody else, I were to see this be the first impression of somebody else that I would have, would I think that this person is competent, or would I think that this person is an absolute fucking idiot? And even though I'd be saying things that are competent and would have a lot of merit behind them, the way that they were presented would often make me look like an absolute fucking retard. Now that is because you don't voice things properly, you don't phrase things properly either, and you just have grammatical errors in what it is that you're outputting, because the understanding
the latency
language pipeline is just very it's a very annoying process. You understand a lot of things, but to turn that into actual language is a remarkably difficult thing to do, more so than people would even imagine, until eventually you do end up in a conversation in front of a live show in front of hundreds of people, and you actually have to fucking do it, and then that thing is being clipped afterwards, and it's like, oh hey, there you go. There you go, this is what it looks like. You kind of look like an idiot there. You're annoyed by your own voice or what it is that you're doing. So probably change that aspect about yourself, evolve and become better, difficult, and that's the introspective element. It is just reevaluating what exactly you just output. Because if you don't do that, you're just wasting your time and everyone else's time, which is arguably about as bad, if not worse, because you're wasting your time. That's pretty bad. It's a life wasted. But if you're wasting if you're wasting everybody else's time as well, then it is arguably even worse, because you're literally just taking aspects of life.
I had to go off the space for a little bit there. Besides listening to yourself and then identifying things that could be better, what did you do to actually improve? Did you just say, all right, I'm going to struggle through whatever I need to say without saying any ums and ahs? What did you specifically do in order to improve your communication? Because I'm actually pretty impressed when I listen to you that you're able to go off for long periods of time without hesitation or losing your train of thought.
It's a practice thing, actually. You have to practice this yourself. A significant other for this will, if you have a significant other that is, has a brain, not many people have that because they date absolute fucking whores, and that's, I can understand the game, but realistically, you need to date someone that you can, talk to, and that doesn't stab you in the back once you reveal certain things about yourself. So say, for instance, you have a wife, if she's willing to listen, try to talk to her about certain things. Try to talk to her about, some things that you understand, and then try to present whatever it is that you understand in as a concise and professional way, or manner rather, as possible. And that will allow you to actually look at yourself and say, hey, am I actually making sense here? Am I actually keeping a consistent train of thought? And the more you do that, the better. And it's even better in environments where there are disturbances, because you will always have a disturbance of some kind. That has helped me, for instance. Because I noticed, oh my God, I'm actually so good when I'm talking to people that I know are actually going to listen to me and I know I can trust. Why don't I just apply the same thing, to everything else? For instance, internet conversations were always a thing I was much better at than actual physical conversations, right? Because, you don't think about, being confronted with a person's face. Now, of course, I'm a lot better at that and I can actually talk to almost anyone if I wanted to. It just depends on what exactly their knowledge base, their knowledge base is. Like, for instance, if I were to talk to someone who's an average fucking frat boy who understands nothing about the world, I cannot have a conversation with them because they physically know nothing. So I cannot actually have a conversation with that. So don't base your standards off of horrible real life interaction. Base your standards off of, hey, what kind of people can you attract? Let's say, for instance, when I have this thing going on and I have an explanation of some kind or I have something I understand, I put a claim out there and it's actually pretty good. And people such as yourself, for instance, and other people who are very capable in the world agree with what it is that I say and even say that that is impressive. That for me is a validation that says, yes, this is actually the thing that makes sense. I don't impress people who have minimum understanding of the world and are just generally terrible people in many different ways that, are just not sufficient. I base my understanding off of people who have a big impact on the world, if that is possible, right?
So, two things. One, it's important for us then to give you feedback and let you know when we don't understand what you're saying, because that's actually helpful to you. And the other thing that I would add is that if you can explain something to a frat boy as you described it, you can explain it to everyone. So that actually is a pretty useful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a bit of a thing. See, the thing I specifically said is I can explain things to that person, but having an actual conversation from a perspective of relating about things is almost impossible because it's impractical, because it can't happen, because there's nothing to relate to. Now, what you just mentioned there saying, oh, hey, talk to the person in that you can teach them something, that kind of works, but it has to be a person who's naturally curious, because not all frat boys are made equally.
I was a frat boy, bro. I know.
Yeah, but if you're curious, just a little bit of curiosity makes all the difference. If you genuinely do not give a slightest of a fuck about anything, there is no chance. There's just no way. And you shouldn't have to waste your time with that either. If there is a slight bit of curiosity, that's enough. That'll do good for you. Then you can have a conversation. Then you can teach and communicate. But also be careful with what it is that you start with. Just kind of establish where the common ground is, where that person comes from. Because if they're of a particular political, aisle, then things become a little bit more complicated.
So don't just think in terms of first principles. Communicate with them in the same way.
Precisely.
How much do you feel this kind of framing really applies to, for instance, the woke fellowship and your ability to speak to them?
Everything. It's what this is rules of engagement for basic diplomacy. Whenever you go out there into the world, this be anything, even the person that you talk to that may sleep with you every single day, it is an act of diplomacy. It's just that there's already context established between the two parties in the case of someone who's always with you. But whenever you engage with, it is always an act of diplomacy.
1, 2,
when you say
3,
deal
4,
with
5,
someone
6,
who's
7, 8,
politically
9, 10,
woke,
11.
it is extremely difficult to engage with them because the type of stuff that you will say has to be stated in such a way as if you were to talk to, say, some sort of bureaucracy like the federal, you're talking to a Fed effectively, because if you do something that's wrong, they will literally work to fucking cancel you. Right? And if you doubt that, I got more than enough proof fucking everywhere. Everybody knows, right? You say just a tiny smoke, you have to walk on fucking eggshells effectively. Treat them as you were actual bureaucracy. Not authority, because they're not an authority. Bureaucracy. There's a difference. Authority means something that has ruling with merit. Bureaucracy means it's just a thing that you have to deal with certain measures and certain framing and all this kind of stuff, right? It's just information differently shaped, certain things that you're not supposed to engage with. This is oh, hey, this is the bureaucratic authority that deals with the water supply or something, so you don't tell them about anything else other than stuff that concerns water supply, as an example. Stuff like that, okay? And so with woke, it is much the same way. You will never discuss any particular other thing because they will simply lead it nowhere. Unless you light the light, the bridges you burn. And realistically speaking about certain things that are critical of their their existence are not. It's just not going to work. It's not your place to do this. That awakening will be bestowed upon them in different ways. And maybe you are successful. Maybe you want to do this. Maybe you can afford to burn the bridges for a little extra light. But realistically speaking, if what has been phrased here is conversing with these individuals, then the best way to do it is to basically walk on eggshells and address things that are meritable about them. And if there's nothing meritable about them, then simply don't talk to them. So
I think the thing that's particularly noteworthy in any instance where you are talking to these people is the basic realization that a lot of the issues that you will talk about may be impacting them personally. As in, you may actually be speaking to an actual trans person, someone who has friends who are trans, et cetera, et cetera. It's that these issues tend to impact people on an emotional level, which I think is effectively the very reason we have this thing in the first place that we all collectively call the woke mind virus, is that it's incredibly difficult to talk about issues that are so personal that do impact like real human lives that you have seen firsthand. So someone can see, I don't know, hate crime against a trans person, be like, wow, I'm gonna. This has emotionally impacted me, and this may, keep them in that particular political sphere for the rest of their lives. I mean, that's kind of just how humans operate in a sense. We're governed by our experiences, and emotional experiences tend to trump logical ones, which is a difficult subject because logic in general is what you need to really be operating with. And emotions are obviously important. Emotions are great. You need to have them. But if emotions govern you, if you let your life be run by them, then you're inevitably going to run into, guess what? People who have had differing experiences that also led them to emotional conclusions, right? So that just leads to a clash that can't really be effectively resolved. And you're talking about
it's just cognitive dissonance again. Like that is the complexity question. When you're talking to somebody about specific issues of biology like that, you're not talking to them about issues of biology because there's absolutely no fucking way. There are some limitations to what outreach you can have, and that is again why I say is communication and conversation is an act of diplomacy each and every single time. And sometimes an act of diplomacy constitutes to making certain concessions in order to, say, get the benefit of knowing the person and making sure that this individual doesn't have the wrong idea of you. If I am, say, going to work with a person in software and they so happen to be trans, the aspect of them which makes them trans is something that is irrelevant to me. I want to know, did you turn the server on? Did you connect that database? Is everything working clean and perfectly? Has the electrician made sure that they connected you to this power source that never goes down, so our servers don't go down? Is all that fixed? Is all good? Nice. How's your whole thing working? Do you have any power surges? Is your server still working properly? All that kind of stuff. At no point will I give it even the slightest of a fuck if that person is trans or not trans, gay, whatever the fuck. I don't care what's between their legs. I don't care what they want to identify as. If they do a good job, they do a good job. I don't give a fuck about anything else. That is the thing that people need to understand as well. And also another thing that people need to understand is, like, specifically with things such as trans, not all of them are the same. I feel social media has in some ways painted a very fucked image of this. Like, you have all of the insane people, legitimately insane people, used as a rule template for all of them that are the same thing, even though it's not a rule. That's the fucking exception. I even know someone. We have our friend Blyzerism as well. So it's like we know this person who has a trans individual in their family who's really fucking based. Like, there's nothing wrong with them. This is not a person who's actually insane. You have to imagine, there is insanity, and then there is something that's actually normal. That individual, from a perspective of how they integrate in society and how they function with that society, is normal, or is what normal should be. Like, that's fine. They don't force their views onto anyone as well. That's pretty cool too, right? They do their thing, they're productive, and that's it. That's all you need. You don't need more than that. You shouldn't be putting out more than that either. You have your own barriers and things. Maybe you can extend them because people are on your side. But realistically, it's not that big of an issue unless you make it an issue and focus on what could make it an issue. That's my perception of that. It's like when I meet a trans person, the last fucking thing, even the thing I wouldn't want to even talk about, is their opinion on biology. Like, what the fuck? that's never gonna end well.
Yeah. To go back to the question about wokeness and how it interacts with the introspective framework, I think what wokeness has done is create new rules of engagement, like Adrian was talking about. And those new rules, at least for the folks that buy into them, are a priori. That means they come before anything else. And if they're violated, it allows them to throw all other rules, including the rules of diplomacy and human decency that Adrian was talking about, out the window. And they'll wish death on people, violence on people. They'll celebrate violence against people that they don't like because they violated the rules of this framework, but they're doing things that are just like not decent on a basic human level. And that's like something I can't vibe with. That's something I can't buy into.
Mm-hmm. Precisely. Have you ever had a quote post of a reply under your post? This is kind of funny. You gotta check this out. That is hilarious.
He lived from his mother's blood, and he will turn many of the sons of Israel to the Lord their God, and he will go before them in their spirit and power to Elisha, and turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just.
Anything else you want to address?
You know, I will give some thoughts on transness, and this is said with like absolutely no disrespect or negative feelings towards trans people whatsoever. However, I think that the way that people react on the issue of pronouns is very telling sometimes, because I think that if your identity is more about making other people treat you a certain way than just you being yourself, then maybe there's more going on than just your identity. To me, I think that if somebody just wants to be themselves and that's who they are, like that's fine and cool. But when it becomes a way to police other people's behavior and control other people, that's where I see it becoming problematic.
Yeah. Again, like what I said, I mean, I'm willing to work with people. I have a diplomatic aura about me. That's the thing I like. However, you know, with diplomacy, like what I said here, imagine you interact with certain people where it's like, hey, this individual is very, like if diplomacy breaks down, that's going to turn into a war between me and them to a certain extent. You know, and maybe I don't have to interface with that war directly. Maybe somebody else in that region will, and I could just ignore it. But in a sense, there will be conflict as a result of my diplomacy breaking down here. Whether or not that conflict directly affects me is a different issue, but that I caused it is the issue, right? So when it comes to, you know, and certain times you can even afford the war. You know, when it comes to a person who's obviously ridiculous, and you have a chance to put that ridiculousness in its place, and the result of that being a better individual or just a victory for you because, you know, it's a sake of victory, then you can also do that as well, right? This happens sometimes when you see me troll certain people or trolling certain concepts. Like, I already have an opinion made up on it, and I will hear them out on certain things, but if these things are complete nonsense, I will have no holding back on anything that I'm going to say within the law and within civilized acceptability. Like, there is going to be a max amount of trolling that's happening, and there will be absolutely no reservations of any.
Send me your Cash App.
I think my Cash App is John Kidover. JOHNKITOVER. Oh my God, sisters, I just got my first Cash App donation.
That was the best wow of all time. Just all of a sudden, wow.
I saw brown Nazi. I was like, what the fuck are you doing here?
A brown Nazi.
Oh my God, Ryan.
Oh my God, Chicago cheeseburger's back. Nigger, 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 nigger.
Ryan, what did you say?
I just said that.
Actually, it's Chicago cheeseburger. Money sign Chicago cheeseburger.
चलो यार ये अच्छा है. This is. No, he's my burner.
Wait, is it coming?
Yeah, it's on the comm. Oh, he's okay. Here he is. Hi, Dylan. He's right there in the bottom. Hi, Dylan. Oh, he left. Let's talk about the.
No, Quran is Dylan.
Mm-mm.
Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Dylan.
That's not Dylan.
Yes, it is. Hey,
It is.
no, it's not.
Dylan, since when are you bald?
Yeah, Dylan. Since when you look like an alopecia market.
Oh, no, don't do that. Your brain naturally goes.
Maybe I am watch a second.
Mom, can you tell him I'm showering? Let me wash my hands. Hold on. Okay, I don't feel comfortable fucking Edmonds in the house, in the room. Hearing me in the bath. I'm in the bath, please.
Oh.
I don't know if you're only with the gays. Ryan, what should I say?
Hello.
No, tell me more.
Hello.
I want to get fucked by a ballerina, man.
What?
Did I stutter?
N-word, what?
Nigger?
N-word say what?
Shut the fuck up, you fucking child molester looking ass nigger, fucking pedophile with the fucking children in your fucking attic.
Stop projecting, brother.
Bitch, give me your first child.
Be nice to my sister.
Yeah, sisters don't talk to sisters like that. Jesus, sister.
Oh my God. Yeah, tell him that.
What is this? Wicked for F words, N words?
Yeah. Oh, my back is so warm.
Oh, you're taking a hot bath. What time is it? What time is it there?
It's morning.
Oh, you didn't go to sleep, huh?
No, I slept the whole day accidentally.
Oh, so you don't have a normal sleeping schedule. That's great.
No, not this week. This is my final week.
Oh, then you go back to hell?
No, I'm going to home.
Home, where's that?
The Netherlands.
Where's that?
The Netherlands?
Do they-
Netherlands?
Do they-
New York. She went back to New
Do they
York.
have Clubhouse there?
Yeah. Going to New York.
Is Princessia on there sucking Diego's digital neo-Nazi dick?
Oh, she's still listening.
Yeah, she's watching right now. She's the only person live watching.
Damn, she's really sad.
She's committed.
She's so fucking pathetic.
That's really depressing.
Diego's busy with his family. She's all alone.
Why don't you go spend
Well,
time with your mom?
Nora, how does it feel to be depressed like that?
Go spend time with your mom.
Nora, you should have thought better. I wouldn't have blocked you if you had blocked me, bitch.
She wrote, "Shut up, you ugly B word."
Oh,
Screenshot that. I want to see it.
Go
I
ahead.
don't care if she said that.
Just go to my YouTube channel and watch it live. You can see her comments live. Do you want
Tell
the
her is she barren?
Princessia? Are you vaccinated and barren? She says, fuck you.
How many SSRIs did she take today?
Yeah.
She said she takes it once a day daily. It's called bupropion. And she says she feels great and that your phobia against psychiatry is not appropriate.
Tell her when she dies, so they'll donate her body to cats for it to be cat food.
She said, so when I talked to her today, she was like, I heard everything you say. I've heard everything you say. You are a foul, disgusting human being.
Who?
Princessia.
Yeah, about who though? About you?
Yeah, about me.
She's projecting.
I know, because clearly I'm like a handsome, polite, intelligent, wonderful human. Duh.
And you're a scientist. You're everything better than her. You're winning. You have a country. You have infected two countries, you know? And she has none. Can you be really angry with her?
I don't know. Do you have any kids?
No, but I'm young.
I just get the feeling that dealing with Princessia is like dealing with a child that has Down syndrome.
Oh my God, Ryan, do you remember Bleed, the retarded girl, Becky? The Down syndrome.
She was retarded. Oh yeah, no, the cheer coach.
The cheer coach,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
That's a Down syndrome that popped in
The
my
cheer
head when you
coach.
said that.
Look at the title.
What's it, check
the
your
room
fucking
is titled Christmas Wind Down.
Rian.
Oh, check my text message.
You can't get out of the hot tub? Call Princessia. She'll tell you how to squirm out.
She doesn't know how to squirt, darling.
I need a girlfriend. Holy
No,
shit.
Princessia.
How do I get rich and travel the world with a hottie?
That pussy is as ashy as fucking Gaza right now. Oh, God forbid.
I just want to say Allahu Akbar.
Nigger.
F word, N word. F word, N words. Hello?
Oh my God, I found Abby in the shower, in the bath. Oh my God, Abby, it's you.
What is it doing?
Do you have your phone with you? Of course you are.
I'm here.
Your hair? What about your hair?
Well, I'm about to die. It's so warm right
Your ass is dry.
Hello?
Oh my God, my pussy hurts.
Pussy, I hate you. You're the dirtiest human on the app. You ruin all my clown house. Bye. Can't deal with all this. Our sister's in the hot tub and you're just being crude and vulgar.
Yeah.
You guys can't leave me alone.
Check your damn Telegram.
Boys, I gotta go get the helicopter. It's nice talking to y'all.
Every single time someone
What is this?
or even something outrageous, I clip it with OBS Studio and upload the MP3 to the Discord soundboard.
That's hella.
Every time we just spam the noises.
Guys, you guys know about the Telegraph, the fucking newspaper? UK news site, the website of the year?
Yes.
Why men should give their wives a cheat pass on Christmas.
Get fucked.
No.
get fucked. I'm sorry. If you want to be a cuck, don't try to normalize it for anyone else, because I will look at you and say, you, sir, ma'am, whatever, are insane. And that is disgusting, and you should probably do something about that, meaning just stop doing it. And I am not at all ever going to participate in normalizing this absolute fucking mental disease of a practice.
Rune posted.
This I do have a very strong opinion on. Like the whole cuck thing, I have a very strong opinion on, and I do have literally zero like an inch of a shit that will like somehow keep me from saying that specific opinion.
Rune just posted.
Say what you want about other sexual identities. I don't represent the assessments of that, but when it comes to this type of shit, these practices, that practice in particular, oh boy, yeah, man. There's no mercy of this one. I'm sorry.
Rune just posted.
It's disgusting.
Rune just posted the amount of Indian hate recently is how you know we made it for real. Everyone pretends to want a meritocracy until they see they're not at the top.
It's kind of hilarious because isn't this like the guy who also kind of advocated for meritocracy, but then in one post specifically said that he can't take the fact that, you know, the new Twitter, as you like to call it, you know, what X is now, amplifies certain opinions irrespective of what this account is. You know, like some pieces of information just naturally surface to the top. And even though these opinions are quite good, or even though some of these takes are quite good, or some of the videos or media attached to it is quite good, bro just says it's slop. Where it's like, sure, I understand that that is the thing that most people think, for sure, but that most is just a very large noise of a very, very small group of people. That
Don't go around drinking with anyone.
That was Twitter.
Don't go driving around with anyone.
The last couple of years. So I'm not sure. It's kind of ironic him saying that. Or it, whatever that is. I have no beef with him, but I do have beef with contradictions. You may change your mind, of course. Sorry. But I shall remember. Always.
Legend says Sam Altman is Rune.
Probably not. I don't think Sam Altman would say I'm Indian.
Sam Altman posted once. He said Rune is my alt.
Yeah, I think he's been.
Yeah, it's a joke. And Elon has said that I'm his AI alter ego, but I'm pretty sure each and every single one of us has verified to each other that that's not the fucking truth, now, is it?
Oh, you are.
People say a lot of things, man. People say a lot of things. Jesus. I mean, hey, do you want to trust the guy who said, hey, man, we're a non-profit organization, but was like driving around in a Koenigsegg, and then decided, oh, hey, now we're a for-profit organization? You want to trust that guy? I don't know, man. I wouldn't trust that guy.
Yeah.
I have no financial incentive in this.
Okay.
I'm talking about how Sam Altman was telling the senator he had no financial interest in OpenAI.
Right. So I thought you were like stating something just for stating it, like just for the trolls, make a quick legal statement. I have no financial incentive in this. We should like normalize that for no reason, like within any context. Whenever the conversation goes stale, you just like follow it, 2-3 seconds, 5 seconds after that with I have no financial incentive in this. Like as monotone a voice as possible. Like really, really fed. Like just say I have no financial incentive. Don't lie about it, of course. Like I have no financial incentive in this.
You're gonna make this space sound real sus.
Exactly. Hey, game of the internet. Who's the Fed? Yeah.